Hey there, y'all. Welcome. Today, my guest is Ellen Contreras, the Treasure Coast Connector. Ellen is a former client of mine. She worked with me for 3 months, 3 rounds, 3 packages. And then she actually went on to work with another health coach. And the combination of those two things is getting her some amazing results. And she had a specific story she wanted to tell me. So I asked her if we could record so we could share it with y'all. So, with that introduction, Ellen, take it away.
Yep, absolutely. And I just want people to understand that the other health coach, it is a diet plan that I am following, where with you, it was about the mindset shift that I needed. And we've talked about my struggles openly, my addiction to Nutella. I'm trying to figure out if there's a 12-step Nutella program. I have to search Google a little better anyway, but thankfully with what I'm doing now, the Nutella is on the counter and I'm not touching it.
Wow.
But I do have a story that it's all about you. And I hope you find it humorous. But it's also a confession to a guilty pleasure that I'm going to have to now let the world know because I'm a serious gal. Most people know that I'm actually a very, yes, I love to laugh and have fun, but I don't do a lot of frivolous things, with the exception of Monday nights. Okay. Monday is the kickoff to the week, and I'm so busy, and sometimes I just need to just relax the brain.
Hmm.
And these shows have been on for a long time, but I've only recently got caught up in, and I think part of it had to do with COVID, is The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Don't
Stop
judge
it.
people. We all have a guilty pleasure.
Yes, yes.
At least
And
it's not
and
Nutella anymore. The Bachelor is calorie free.
oh my gosh. What it can be calorie free. So hold that thought for a moment, Missy, because and I love this season and how Charity is doing and all of that. She's just a smart gal and just fun to watch anyway. So what do they do on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette? They cheat, they toast themselves, and they show that they're drinking. Of course, they have gorgeous food on the one-on-ones that they don't touch, right? But they will have a glass of wine or champagne. Okay. Now, you know me. You know what Mama likes. Mama
Hmm.
likes a glass of wine, right?
Hmm.
Or whiskey. And so what I find myself doing is when I watch the show, I have a glass of wine. That's
Hmm.
fine.
Hmm.
Okay. And bananas and Nutella. No, no, not in the past. Okay. So I would enjoy a glass of wine while I'm watching the show. And now with this particular plan, there is no snacking in between. And I am fine with that. Okay. And I'm still early on. I am just past my first month, and it's 14 pounds of weight loss.
Oh my God, that's
Okay.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that happens with the initial, any type of, plan you're following. And then I'm sure I want to go to like a 1 to 2 pound a week. I
Hmm.
don't want to be losing too much. 55, everything will hang down and I'll look like I'm 85, Anyway.
You can always just Nutella any back on if you need to plump something up. You know how to do
Yes,
that.
yes. So now in my house, I have tile floor throughout. And so what I normally do, I'm a water drinker anyway. And look,
Mhm.
this is a really pretty glass with plastic glass with the palm trees.
Yes, very
Okay.
Florida.
And yeah, so yeah, and my other glasses that are a little bit smaller are also palm trees with pink flamingos. Okay.
Lovely.
Now, granted, when I have people over, I do have glassware to, serve iced tea, wine, whatever. But here I am on the Monday, and I'm content. I'm not hungry. I'm not craving. I don't really feel like wine. I have some beautiful bottles unopened, not touching them. But now I'm watching The Bachelorette, and I'm like, I want to drink wine, but I didn't want to. But
Mm-hmm.
here
Mm-hmm.
I am thinking about it. And then I said to myself, what would Lisa Duke do?
Oh, we should make bracelets.
Right? Yeah, and so I thought to myself, I used the tools because I wasn't craving it. It was just a thing where I'm seeing them having fun. I'm like, I would like a glass of wine. I'm like, no, no, no. And I used your tools, and within a few moments, reset my brain. And you also would have us work through what is a good solution that won't set you back but will still make you feel happy and good. You want to know my answer?
I do.
Now it's over here. And this, it's actually frosted because I have ice. I had ice in it. This is a Gottinger crystal goblet.
I hate that I don't have mine within arm's reach today, but I have those. And it's exactly the same thing. Like
The
sometimes you just want a princess drink and it doesn't have to be the alcohol, but you're like,
yeah,
I need a princess drink.
yes. So here I am. If you came to mind, your techniques came to mind, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, I have these gorgeous crystal goblets, and I got my water, and it weighs a ton, by the way, and it's like palm trees and everything. And here I am happily sipping on my water. And I mean, these are fine, but I'm a little bougie bratty.
Yes,
And
we have that
so
in common.
this made me very content because this is upscale. I don't let my husband touch these. It's a long story, but I want to keep the set of six that I have for as long as possible. I'm just saying. But anyway, all kidding aside, that was just and so I had the effect that I wanted. I'm watching them have fun in a beautiful locale. Where were they last week? Oh, they were at hometowns. They were in different parts of the country, but it was all gorgeous. And then I was happily sipping along.
Fantastic. That's such a good story. And I really appreciate you sharing. So I'm assuming with the plan that you're on right now, alcohol is not a part of that plan.
No, it's not a part of the plan. However, I am in phase two,
Hmm.
okay? And there's four phases, but I am at a point where I can have a treat meal. And a glass of wine or a glass of beer can be a part of that. And you know that I go to a lot of events, and there were two instances where, and again, this is another good story to share. So, the Promenade Senior Living Facility, Rhonda Hamilton had this wonderful event because last week on Tuesday, yeah, the 25th, there were two national holidays last week, Lisa. So the 25th, and we didn't get the day off from work, but the 25th was National Wine and Cheese Day.
Oh, I didn't know it had a day.
Yeah, it does. And it's the 25th of July. And cheese is actually a part of my plan, of
Mhm.
course, within moderation. And that's what makes it so easy to do this plan. Um, but what I decided to do was, my thought was, again, using your technique, when I go to this event, if the wines that they have available are maybe not wines that I particularly like, it'll be very easy for me to say no. What happened? Mark West Pinot Noir. I kind of like it.
Hmm.
So I had some with a little bit of cheese, but I haven't had any negative impact, on the scale. The other event that week, Thursday, the 27th, another national holiday, that was National Whiskey Day. And you know where I was? I was at Cocktails and Collaborations, the networking event that I produce
Hmm.
at Vero Beach. And the name, a lot of people go Filthies, and there's a cute story behind the name. It's an adorable place, and oddly enough, for a bar, it's spick and span clean. It's like you don't smell stale beer, and it's adorable inside. So, and Jamie, the lead, bartender, they have on the menu of cocktails, Old Fashions have its own section of the menu because there's so many different ways that they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had one. Yeah. Again, yeah. So I'm able to factor it in, but then this week it's like, no, I'm not going to do, I probably won't even have a treat meal, you know? So,
And I guess the idea is trying to bring it all together is because you and I did the work first,
yes.
you were able to discern, right? Going back to The Bachelor, I think a lot of times people were like, I want a drink, and then they go get a drink. But you were
Yeah.
like, I want a drink, but do I really? I don't know. What I really want is to be fancy and beautiful, like the experience the people on
Yeah.
TV are having. How
Yeah.
could I be fancy and beautiful and have this one magical experience? Well, I'll go get my fancy glass and I'll have water.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just obeying every thought that pops in your head, you're able to kind of question the thought and say, well, hang on. Even if it's true, I don't always have to obey it. Maybe I do, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I can decide. But is it even true? Like, no, it's not even true. It's not really the alcohol that I want. And, I'd prefer to save my treats for elsewhere and be on track
Yeah.
today. I've done so well. I'm not hungry. I don't really want anything. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to discern, do I really want this or do I just want a moment of bouginess? And how
Yeah.
can I have a moment of bouginess for no
Mm-hmm.
calories? That was
Yeah.
really a big win. And
Yeah.
and I will take credit for like helping you learn the tools.
Yeah.
And the real magic piece is you're actually doing it, right? Like you're choosing to use
Mm-hmm.
the tools. You learned the tools, you're choosing to use the tools. You're applying the tools, even though we worked together. I mean, it's been months ago now,
Oh,
right? So
yeah.
you're not like a
Mm-hmm.
current client. This is something you've been able to take with you.
But it's stuck with me. Yeah,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you really made an amazing impact in the thought process and how I can not listen to. And as you know, I refer to my fat cells speaking to me. They speak to me. They're on mute right now. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But the thing is that regardless of what physical diet plan someone chooses to follow, okay, um, what happens I think with people is like I'm used to growing up, I was used to vegetables. I love vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and I really wasn't a fast food type of a person. But what you're going to come across, or I think people that are watching and listening to this, if someone feels pressure to lose weight, meaning they've had a talk with their doctor, they're not feeling well, and they've had all the screening and testing and blood work, and it's like, wow, your A1C numbers are off the charts, or your cholesterol, or whatever it is, kidney function,
Blood
and
pressure. Yeah.
yeah, blood pressure, and they get scared, right? Then yeah, they might say, yeah, I guess I have to do this. And then they embark on a plan. Well, what if that person is really truly used to eating out all the time? Fast food, or even, mid-level restaurants, or just, eating out a lot. It's going to be really hard for them to follow a plan, a diet
Any
plan.
plan. Mm-hmm.
And that's where you come in, because I think honestly, before anybody tries to start a new way of eating, they should talk to you and learn your techniques so that they can get their mind right and their thinking right so
Exactly.
that they
Exactly.
don't feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. And there are some people who don't have a lot of drama about it. They don't have a lot of thoughts. They just, I wasn't paying attention. Now I've got a plan. I'll follow the plan. For that person, you
Mhm.
can skip to the plan part.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
most of my clients, they've done a lot of things. They've tried a lot of plans. It worked while they were doing it, then they stopped for whatever reason.
And then they yo-yo back up.
And what we are taught, what we all believe is, I just need to find the next great plan. And
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of my clients, what they don't always realize, and again, this is not true for everybody, but the kind of people I work with, it's not about finding the next big plan. And it's not even about learning something you don't know, right? Like we kind of know it's probably going to be vegetables, some chicken,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're vegetarian, then you got to figure it out. It's not about finding the new thing. It's about getting yourself to follow whatever plan is going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think different plans work different degrees of effectiveness for different people. But you find a plan, you stick to it. It's the self talk, it's all the little thoughts of like, oh, I should get a drink. Or, well, we always have chips in front of the TV. Or, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's movie night, so we have to have popcorn. Like, but why? So
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to your thinking, catching the thinking, questioning the thinking, and then you use those tools to stick with whatever plan you choose. So it was for you, I think, the combination of the two that really
Oh
means
yeah.
you're now having the results you're having.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
yay.
been very helpful. And so now, so what happens for me when I get into phase three, more foods will be open up to me to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then phase four is maintenance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I'm going to really have a good understanding of visualizing my portions and things like that. But I think that once I am like free range, so to speak, like
Yeah.
totally, I don't have to measure things, and I can, like for example, watching other or listening to other people like on the plan, when they're in maintenance, some people are like, well, I follow my plan Monday through Friday, and I go off on the weekends a little,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So everybody's different. And it's at that point where I think your techniques that I learned from you are going to really play in, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I don't say, well, now I'm down to my goal weight. Woohoo.
Exactly. You're not on a diet that you are going to go off of and return to the way of eating that made you overweight. Because that's how
Right.
you get the yo yo. Like, I'm on a diet, but I just have to do it till I hit my goal. And then I can go back to normal eating. Like, well, the normal eating is what got you where you are, and it will
Mhm.
put you right back there over time. What you want to do is use whatever plan it is, pick a plan that's sustainable, right? Like, if
Mhm.
the plan
Yeah.
is, magic dust that you mix with water twice a day and then lettuce and chicken, you're not going to be willing to do that forever. So,
No.
like, I don't ever want to rain on anybody's parade that's doing that, but it's
Yeah.
like, well, let me know at the end if you need any help.
So
You want
so
to pick
yeah, so
something you can do like 80, 90% forever. Sorry, go ahead.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I've been taking photos of like the foods because I'm eating steak and I'm eating chicken and I'm eating a wide variety of fish. And then there's a ton of vegetables, and I love vegetables. There's fruit. I'm drinking milk. I'm having yogurt. So, not everybody is into dairy. I love dairy and some cheese.
Hmm.
So no food group has been eliminated,
Hmm.
and it's actually food that I'm buying and preparing. So it's not like packaged diet plan food. And then that to me, I think is terrible. Um, However, based on blood work, the food plan that I have is what my body, I guess, really likes to eat. So, like for
Hmm.
example, of course, anybody who overeats a plate of pasta is gonna feel yucky, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that this is a plan of food that I can tolerate and then that I have intolerances. But like for example, wheat is not on my plan. It could be on someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
Rye, that particular grain is on my plan. Okay. So when I'm in phase 4, okay, I may eat pasta. I may go to an Italian restaurant and have pasta, but it may make me feel so yucky that I'm going to say, that's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to reintroduce foods and see how I feel. Because right now, I feel better than I have ever felt before. My whole digestion, everything just feels fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to, I think we talked about that. It's hard to, when somebody's in the before mindset, they kind of don't like, they're like, I don't feel great, but it's not that big of a problem. And it's probably because I'm getting older and these things happen. And if you're in the after mindset, and you're like, oh my God, you're just going to feel so much better. Just trust me. Like, you just have to get through the transition. It's going to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
This person who's in the before thinks these people are in a cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had said
Yeah.
to you, Ellen, just give up the pasta, you're going to feel so much better, you might have stabbed me.
Maybe. I might not have done that. I probably would have whined and cried and tried to reason and debate you.
Exactly.
You know?
But with that plan, in getting you to let it go for a little while, you were able to experience the after good feeling and you were like, oh, I don't know that I
Yeah.
really want to go back there. And if you ever do, because it's not something you eat all the time, you will feel it and it'll kind of ruin it for you, which
Mm-hmm.
is evil,
Yeah.
but effective. So, and I haven't got any science handy to prove this, but I'm sure if anybody Googles it, there's work that's been done. I think I have heard that sometimes those foods that don't agree with us actually have like a bit of a weird kind of addictive pull on it. Like, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
even read something somewhere and I'm not remembering it enough to be able to even talk about it now, but I think that's not uncommon is the foods that people think they just love, like it's actually kind of messing you up and there's something in that that's a little addictive. You've not heard anything
Yeah,
about that, have
yeah,
you? Or
I've read articles about that as well, and so I'm grateful that processed foods right now are just out of the picture,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, so that's good. I mean, I am the Wasa rye crisp bread,
Okay. Yeah.
so that is processed, but it's a very healthy, and it's delicious, I have to say. I love the crunch that it gives. And because I have cheese, oh, and I have avocado in my diet,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
putting cheese or avocado on the cracker is really good too. So just
Yay. So
just
good.
saying.
So,
Yeah.
all right, because everybody is busy, including us
Yeah.
and the folks watching this, we probably ought to kind of wrap up. But I want to take a moment because I love to connect people and to promote women in business. And I know you are a connector and you are a woman in
Yeah.
business. So, just in case there's any potential clients of yours who are watching who don't
Mhm.
know what you do, tell everybody a little bit about who your ideal client is and how you help them.
Yeah, so small, actually any type of business, predominantly on the Treasure Coast. I love to put a spotlight on who they are, why they started doing what they do, because the backstories are very interesting.
Mhm.
And people, I think, before they start working with someone, kind of want to know why they're doing what they're doing. Okay. And so I have an iHeartRadio talk show, 101.7 FM, and it's on on all the major podcasts, but we film every episode. So whenever I interview someone, they get that video, as you know, to
Mhm.
use however they want for future marketing. So it's about creating a spotlight for business owners, connecting them to consumers in the community, and letting people know that they exist, who they are, what their products and services are all about. And there's other marketing services that I provide in addition to that.
Yeah.
But I always lead with that. because everybody that's in business, they usually will complain about two things predominantly, and that is how to get more sales, to get money in, and then the people equation, to get a good team behind them, you know?
Mhm.
And when they figure out those two things, then it makes everything else seem to fall into place for their business.
Yeah,
So
that's so good. And I will just add for anybody who's watching, yes, right? Like we've worked together, we record the video. I'm getting in front of your audience, then I have content I can put in front of my audience. That's awesome. That's what you're paying for. But it's like the Clinique counter, right? Like there's like, okay, I came to buy the lipstick, but I'm getting the Clinique bonus. Like that's the really exciting, like the extra stuff. So
Oh,
the
I know. I
Clinique,
love that. Yeah.
yeah, the Clinique bonus, I think, of working with you is you truly are the connector. So there's like,
Hmm.
yeah, the services that you're providing for money, but then it's also just a natural function of who you are in the world that you'll
Hmm.
be at a marketing event and you'll, grab me and grab somebody else and say like you guys should collaborate together, you're helping the same client, or you'll tell people you need to work with Lisa, she solves exactly that problem. You're always
Hmm.
throwing out your story at networking events. So, and that's, I think, the part, like it's great to have the like official grown-up marketing, but it's that enthusiasm, that word of mouth that really, I think, puts people over the tipping point.
Hmm.
And that's just something that kind of like comes with you being you. You do that for people that even aren't your clients. You're like, I just bought
Yeah.
this thing and it's amazing and you should go get one. And I'm like, suddenly I want one.
Yeah. 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 I love doing that. I'm scrolling, through my social media, and I'll see a post and it's like, oh, the world needs to know about this, or my followers or whatever. Because as you share things, you never know now. Yeah, your followers might see it, but you never know who else outside of that, which I really appreciate about social media. So yeah. So, sometimes years later oh, here's a good example. So, somebody sent me an email and they were like, credit card processing fees, it's just killing me right now. And so I said, oh, you need to talk to Alphonse Alexander of EPSG. And I just feel like what he offers, because he was on my radio show, I'm like, I have this gut feeling that he can really address her, issue. And
Mm-hmm.
I put them together,
Yeah.
and he was on my talk show a year ago. But yeah, I can't help that. That's just, yeah,
Yeah.
what I
It's
love
really
to do.
cool. It's really cool. So if somebody's watching that needs that, how can they get in touch with you?
So they can call me. My direct number is 772-925-4557. And my website is tcconnector.com. And it has all my information on it.
Fantastic. And if you're watching this for the weight loss story and you're interested in working with me, my website is lisaduke.net. You can go to, if you're on the lisaduke.net website, if you go to how to start, there's a video that talks a little bit about what I do, how I help people. And then under the video, if you scroll down, there's a calendar. Find a date and time that works for you. Give me a little bit of information about what's going on with you. And then actually read the stuff on the little check boxes because I do disclose the price there.
Mhm.
I try not to talk about it in all of my marketing anymore because I want to have the ability for this to be evergreen and to change the price and
Yeah,
people not be
yeah.
like, but I saw a thing from 1978 that said it was
Mhm.
$12. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's changed since then. But I do want people to know that ahead of time so they're not getting on the consult, getting all excited, and then having that be a shock. So I try to let people know right up front, like,
Yeah.
this is what it would be. So what the
But
investment would be. So.
you're worth every penny, because when people get proactive about their health, right? They're spending money with the coaching, right? And they're getting the help.
Mhm.
Then they're taking control. And yes, anything can happen to anybody,
Sure.
cancer, whatever. But when you don't take care of yourself, and then you have to meet with your doctor, and then all of a sudden you're on all of these medications and surgical procedures and this and that, down the road you end up paying so much more money in taking care of your health after the fact. When you're proactive, it's a lot less money.
Exactly, exactly. And my opinion, I'm not a doctor. I have a lot of respect for doctors, but I think some people think like, oh, I'll just live whatever lifestyle I want. And then when that creates problems, I'll take medication to erase the problems. Most of those lifestyle related problems, the medication doesn't erase it. It's just sort of like trying to hold the lid down and
Yeah.
slow the disease process. So
Hmm.
if we don't change the lifestyle, we're going to go from pre-diabetic to diabetic to higher doses of, to like losing your, like it's going to continue heart disease, blood pressure. It will, all the doctor, and again, if somebody's watching this and you have facts and I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. I'm here to
Hmm.
learn. It won't hurt my feelings.
No, there's
Um,
ramifications and there's side effects to medications too.
exactly. All the medication is doing is delaying the consequences. It's not erasing the consequences. And like you
Hmm.
said, especially in this country, healthcare is not free. So you are going to be paying money for your health.
Hmm.
Do you want to pay? I'll admit it's a chunk of change, but do you want to invest now and avoid some of those expenses later and feel better and, look cuter in
Hmm.
your shorts and right?
Yeah.
Like there's other
Yeah.
benefits too. So you're going to spend the money either way. How do you want to spend it? And how do you want to feel between now and then, right? Like a lot of people talk about sort of genetic predispositions, like, well, everybody in my family has diabetes. I'm definitely going to get it. Okay, cool. Do you want to get it at 70 or at 50? Because
Yeah.
I do think lifestyle plays a huge factor in that. And your quality of life is going to be very different if you develop it at 50 versus at 70. So,
Sure.
anyway,
Mhm. Yeah.
of
Very
course,
good.
we think that way because we're afters. So, if you want to be an after too, lisaduke.net. And thank you so much, Ellen, for your time.
Yeah.